Does it make you feel bad when you hear how easily debunked your favorite content creators' talking points are? Would you rather just keep thinking that he's right? My bad. My mistake. I didn't realize he was just going to say it absolutely is. I guess there's no counter argument to that.
Cartel government that is based around running drugs and weapons and human trafficking.
None of this is true.
Inside of the United States.
None of this is true. And ironically, one can make the argument that Donald Trump was more responsible for a lot of Venezuelans actually fleeing Venezuela due to the sanctions. And also offering them temporary protected status, which is once again interesting position. Because on the one hand, I'm sure he will say this is good for the Venezuelan people that they like finally deposed of Maduro, who everyone in Venezuela hates, while simultaneously talking about Venezuelans coming into the country as a scourge. Again, if your goal is to just consistently pump up whatever the fuck Trump is saying and doing and say it's based, you're going to be just as inconsistent as Trump. Obviously, this doesn't matter for a lot of people who just want to hear someone say Trump is based.
This is very clearly a problem for us. Like, this is it. It's not like they're sitting over there in their own area just killing each other. No, absolutely not. They go and they're doing it all over the world. And they're doing it over.
It's really interesting because Trump's very own DEA and numerous agencies have found that Venezuela is not a significant narco trafficking hub at all. It's their own assessment of the situation, and that at most there's a little bit of Trendaragua activity, but that's a low-level criminal gang that does like low-level drug dealing. It's actually a prison gang once again, and does not have a connection to the Maduro government at all.
For here, we can't let that happen. What are you talking about? So yeah. And the world should be thanking us for getting rid of them as a potential source of nuclear. I don't know why I can't talk. The world should be thanking us for getting rid of them as a potential source for nuclear escalation. Absolutely, you're right.
A potential source for nuclear escalation. A potential source for nuclear escalation. What is the nuclear escalation potential here with Venezuela? He's just making up stuff that even the administration is not making up at this point. Hasanabi doctrine? Yeah, Venezuela does not have nuclear arms. What are you talking about? That's not even one of the lies that the administration presented. He's just making up new lies.
100% you are. You remember whenever Trump bombed Iran and he just totally wiped out their nuclear system? Like the entire place looked like
Bro, you're miserable. Does it make you feel bad when you hear how easily debunked your favorite content creators' talking points are? Would you rather just keep thinking that he's right? Is that what it is? Is that why you have to lash out like this, like a little child, like a little baby, going wah wah? Counter the positions that I'm making right now, or shut the fuck up. That's all this is. This is a political conversation. I'm a political actor. So is Asmongold. Okay, he's a political commentator. I'm a political commentator. This is a conversation about politics. This is a conversation about history. This is a conversation that's taking place about the talking points that he is putting out there. You can keep fantasizing about me crashing out or that I'm a fool or whatever, but the reality of the matter is I don't hear a lot of addressing of the talking points. Also, I think people can see, they can see me. They can see that I'm not crashing out.
Change the geography of the entire area. There were not even any photos of it. You couldn't even see it. And it's like you could see a difference with a satellite, and you didn't even know where the building was.
Wait, was he talking about Iran when he said the nuclear threat?
Trump bombed Iran, and he just totally wiped out their nuclear system.
Oh, wait.
Rid of them as a potential source of.
Oh, he says getting rid of Venezuela as a potential source of nuclear threat, and then he pivots to Iran. First, he says that Venezuela is a potential source for a nuclear threat, which is not the case.
Them as a potential source of nuclear I don't know why I can't talk. The world should be thanking us for getting rid of them as a potential source for nuclear escalation. Absolutely, you're right. 100% you are. You remember whenever Trump bombed
Yeah, and then he starts talking about Iran afterwards.
Iran, and he just totally wiped out their nuclear system. Like the entire place looked like it like changed the geography of the entire area.
Fordow was an underground facility that was hit with bunker buster bombs. Obviously, the only thing that you could see was two minor impact sites. It didn't actually change the entire geography at all. It's an underground facility that seemingly didn't actually put a dent in the Iran nuclear uranium enrichment program, according to what Israel is saying. Now, Israel might be lying about that, but that's at least something that they're admitting. And also that retaliation leading up to that bombing campaign and in the aftermath of that bombing campaign was raining missiles and penetrating the Iron Dome with all the might of the entirety of the Western defenses. I don't think that was that successful overall.
There were not even any photos of it. You couldn't even see it. And it's like you could see a difference with a satellite, and you didn't even know where the building was. And so anyway, all this happened, and then everybody's like, "Oh, they're going to retaliate. They're going to fight back."
Not only did they keep showering Israel, but they also hit the U.S. Central, or was it the U.S. Central Command? Yeah, they hit Qatar, right?
After Iran.
I guess technically so did Israel. I guess Qatar is eating it from both ends there.
Did anything happen? No, they didn't do shit. They didn't do a fucking thing. So this is exactly what's going to happen with this too. 100%. Who's next? President of Colombia? The president of Colombia, apparently Trump said he better watch his ass. Hassan's mental gymnastics are very tiring. Well, the thing is that, do you remember?
Hassan's mental gymnastics are very tiring. I'm anti-intervention. I'm anti-intervention against Venezuela. I'm anti-intervention against Iran. I think that all of this stuff is totally unproductive and at best good for oil barons and those who are in the halls of power, people who are capital owners, right? It's just for the super wealthy. None of the imperial super profits actually trickle down to the average American citizen. And every single dollar that we spend doing this kind of adventurism overseas is a dollar that we could be spending on ourselves in the United States of America. At its heart, this is actually the America First position. The reality of the matter is Donald Trump knows that is a popular position and yet does not actually follow through on his agenda, follow through on his promise, but is unfortunately able to dupe the minds of many Americans by simply claiming, no, I invented America first. And that actually didn't mean non-intervention. That actually meant intervention when I see fit.
Remember what I said. The viewpoint is always the less Western, less white, less Christian, less American, less...
Don't really know what to say to that one. I'm going to reiterate my position. I want the United States of America, the wealthiest nation on the planet, to fund healthcare for every American, okay? White, non-white alike, Christian, non-Christian alike. I think we should be spending our resources here rather than through these kinds of idiotic adventures that seemingly only advance the interests of capital. But once again, this is a thought-terminating cliche. He's deploying this here so that his audience actually feels comfortable with their position. Oh, yeah, we're in opposition to Hassan. He's wrong. He couldn't possibly have the right opinion on this, even if it's one that even Donald Trump himself declared was his position, right? We're not hypocritical. Hassan is inconsistent because he's always finding himself at odds. Let's see what the inconsistency is, though.
Like Western culture thing is good. So basically, whatever is...
Also, Maduro is Christian and also Western. I don't understand, but go
farther away from those values is the thing that these people will support. It is that simple. I know that you might think there's no way it's that simple. Absolutely it is.
Yes. 12 plus years of writing, reading, doing political commentary, working on political campaigns, working with politicians, getting politicians elected, interviewing politicians, advocates, organizers, All of that reduced to a guy who does not shower saying Hassan just simply takes the non-white, non-Western, non-Christian position. Now, you can delude yourself into thinking that this is my analysis, but if you're even a little bit intellectually curious, you'll probably come in here and check it out for yourself and realize that that's not the case. Unfortunately, unlike you, unlike Asmongold, I actually have respect for my audience's level of intellect. He does not. And maybe he's right. Maybe his audience is too stupid to actually check. But it's very clear that he thinks his audience is too stupid to actually check. And many in his audience actually don't.
It is. And once you...
The reality of the matter is, if Kamala Harris was actually facilitating this campaign, if you think Asmongold, even for a brief moment, would come out and say, this is actually based, this is awesome, instead of saying what he was saying during the election cycle, which is that Kamala Harris is going to do war, Trump is actually the peaceful president, you would be delusional. Okay? This is not even hypothetical. He did say that he was anti-interventionist during the election campaign because Donald Trump was anti-interventionist, or at least presented himself as anti-interventionist. I, of course, talked about this being a lie over and over again, not that it matters.
See it from that angle, it's hard not to keep seeing it that way.
Also, didn't Asmongold say he agrees with you a lot? Yeah, no, that's only when I actually approach him. Then he has to concede on a lot of the positions, because a lot of the positions, if he were to like advance in a back and forth conversation, they would look really silly.
Because that's always how it's going to be. And it's so obvious too. Yeah, I think that, like, you sound like a schizo saying it, but whenever you have so many points on a graph, you're going to be able to draw a line. So yeah, it's exactly what's happening. And I don't care about Venezuela. That's pennies to the illegal stuff in America compared to Mexico. Well, it's a lot of, the thing is that if we're able to trade with Venezuela, and we're also able to...
we are able to trade with Venezuela. The only reason why we haven't traded with Venezuela more frequently is because the American government doesn't want to trade with Venezuela. As a matter of fact, if you knew anything about anything, including about Venezuelan trade, for example, you would know that we have been trading with Venezuela even consistently through this blockade. And not only that, but we've also still had Chevron operating inside of Venezuela while we had our Navy carriers off the coastline of Venezuela.
Weaken other global enemies. The problem is that, like, I don't even really disagree with you, and I think that you can really do both. Like, if you're looking at what's happening in Venezuela and saying that, like, here's one thing
Tell me this is dumb, or he's just grifting, or he's just dumb and grifting. I just don't think he's that knowledgeable. I don't think he's dumb. I just don't think he's that knowledgeable. But you don't actually have to be knowledgeable when you're grifting to the right. He definitely is grifting. What is this? Oh, you are? And what is your position?
I'm going to say, okay? Don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't do it.
Wow.
Because if you...
Well, Donald Trump dared to dream. The audacity of hope. Not by Barack Obama, but this time by Donald Trump. He dared the dream, and he dreamt big, and that's why he succeeded, everybody. The leader of the most powerful military on the planet was able to successfully implement this nighttime air raid on a country that it has dominated economically for decades. Every single one of these people flip-flopped. Nick Fuentes is another one of these nasty little flip-floppers. Nick Fuentes was against any military action in Venezuela. Just 3 months ago, he warned that an invasion could activate domestic terror cells and plunge America into an insurgency. Now he's claiming he supported it all along. Psychotic, but typical. Taking your own side means calling out Jewish oligarchs and anti-American peasants from third world shitholes. We are America's second to none, and we own the finish line. I have literally never said no more foreign conflicts. I support U.S. empire. I support the Monroe Doctrine. I support hemispheric defense. I always have. Initially seemed like a solid operation to cleanly, bloodlessly, and quickly remove Maduro from power last night, but this new policy of running Venezuela with U.S. soldiers sounds like a massive overcommitment. I have zero confidence in nation building. Big mistake. He went from throwing up the USA to saying General raising canes to saying, yeah, maybe the running Venezuela isn't the best idea. Ironically enough, of course, our puppet that we were going to install is a Omega Zionist and massive supporter of Israel. and has been begging Israel to also intervene, or at least get America to intervene on her behalf. But then again, like I said, these guys don't believe in anything. He is not even like actually anti-Israel. Yes, he hates Jews, but even that hatred of Jews, I think he would probably tamper, like I said, or rein in, like I said before, if it meant getting a crumb of power, if it meant getting any proximity of power, getting any proximity to power. That's just how it is. None of these guys actually give a fuck about whatever they're saying. They do not have a consistent position at all. And all they do is simply chirp alongside the wind. Asmongold operates off of this iteration of owning the libs. Americans won't have affordable healthcare, affordable groceries, or jobs, but billionaires and oil tycoons will get richer, and this is how Trump owns the libs, destroys the woke, and makes America great again. No, that's precisely what it is, as I've talked about over and over again. I keep repeating myself on this issue. This kind of military action in Venezuela is not going to improve your lives. It's not going to improve your lives even a little bit. So anyone who tells you that this will objectively improve your lives is lying to you. You should actually scrutinize them, okay? Just understand. Anyone who tries to tell you that another regime change war for the extraction of oil, for our oil barons, is going to somehow magically improve your material conditions, make rent more affordable, make groceries more affordable, is lying to you, okay? Sure, we'll get the goods, we'll get the oil, but that's not going to yield American prosperity. It's not going to create American prosperity at all. It's going to create prosperity for the oil and gas industry. And that's it. And as we know already, those gains do not trickle down at all. And you're a fucking moron for thinking that it does. I guess I can't really hate on you too much because there are plenty of morons who make this argument over and over again. One of those is Asmongold, and the other one is Nick Fuentes.
You went on Twitter. Everybody was saying, this is against international law. You have to wait for Congress. We'll read the Constitution. Oh, you can't just do that. That's illegal.
Oh, never mind. He's destroying his opponents by making a silly voice. I mean, not that I give a fuck about any of that as a counter argument anyway, because I think it's fucking stupid and no one actually gives a shit. What is this? Grab a gun and get on the front lines, tough guy. We'll even let you bring your pet roach and dead rat alarm
Like,
clock.
here's one thing I'm going to say, okay?
Asmongold says he would vote for Trump and Republicans if Trump did something similar to attacking Venezuela every week, comparing it to the Minnesota fraud. Simply attacking Venezuela every week. Where else could they attack?